Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new episode of the X Button, Season 5, Episode 37. I am your host, Alejandro, and making his return, both of us, after 2 weeks.
It's Paul. Hey, everybody. Feel like I
So,
say I'm still alive every episode at this
yeah,
point.
but I'm still alive too, because last week I actually did record an episode with our benched guy, and we had constant blackouts that day. We had like a massive storm, and it ruined a lot of that recording that made it like so unsalvageable of what we're talking. So this is gonna be like the second time we have lost an episode this week that also was like 3 hours long. So it seems like if an episode like crosses the 3 hour mark now, it's cursed because that's what happened with our friend Rick. We had a 3 hour conversation and that went kaput. So
Mm.
so what would have been episode 212 last week is going to be this week's episode. And I get kind of perfect because we're basically following up on the last time Paul was here. So and we've had a lot of time to play what we last talked about.
That
Yep,
is true.
it's like the show is not a bi-weekly show yet. It may turn into one soon. I'll talk about that slightly later. But uh but regardless, we're still here. Just a reminder that this is the Xbox Podcast, Escapes Gaming podcast that posts every Fridays from 10 a.m. onwards, God willing. Available on the YouTube channel Escape Gaming, as well as most audio services around the world. Apple Podcast, Spotify, and the like. You can find links in the RSS feed at tinyurl.com/escape gaming. You enjoy our show? Give us a like and subscribe. And a little bit of housekeeping, and this also kind of includes Paul. Right now, we are allowed to say that we got Ninja Gaiden 4.
That we
Uh,
do.
yeah, thanks to Xbox sending the code to SG, obviously, like because you and I share accounts, so we both have it. We can talk about it. We'll be able to talk about it after next Monday. However, once I post my review on Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, I'll be allowed to stream it. So you'll be able to read my review and see the early parts of that game before the game comes out this coming Monday over at my Twitch, twitch.tv/slash theslayergiant, which is something that I've been like doing a lot of streams for. Like by the time that you listen to this episode on Friday, it's
I would have earned about 50 more dollars.
yes. You'll probably see like if you follow my channel, I've been like streaming a lot of Ghost of Yotei, which we're gonna be like talking about. Like, we're gonna be talking. I'm gonna give myself extra stream days because I kind of want to get it done because it's like it's been 2 weeks since the game came out and interest tends to plateau after a few times with everything that's new coming in. So today when we're recording, I'm gonna be streaming again and also on Friday, where I usually do from starting at at my 8 p.m. Mountain Time, which is 9 p.m. Central Time for the U.S. peeps in Central Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Time, and 10 p.m. EST. So, and then I go as long. I usually say that I'm gonna go for 3 hours. I said that on Monday. I went for six. Then yesterday I was like, I'm gonna do 3 hours, and then I saw a massive outburst of viewership, and I was like, no, I'm gonna keep this. Like all these people came in right now. That's wild. I'm gonna keep playing, and I went for like 5 hours. So I'm a little, I feel a little sleep deprived, let's say, but I feel it's paying off. It's interesting getting paid, like seeing that you're making money for playing games.
Now, how does
I
that
don't.
even work? Like, do they just send you something after a while? Can you cash out?
You'll be able to cash out after you recollect a certain amount in a month. So you make money by ad revenue. So it's like if you're watching and if you're not subscribed to a channel, you'll get stopped by ads. And the
Right.
ads depend on how long how long the creator lets them be because there's creators that put like 60-second ads. I put 30 to not be that intrusive.
Mm.
And they told me that the ad revenue share was not gonna be split, and I was like, I'm still early. I don't want to like force people. But then like if you want to not receive ads, you can like then sub to creator. You can sub to me now, or if you have Prime, if you have Amazon Prime, Prime gives you a free Prime sub that you can give to a creator, and it acts kind of like as a you just sub to someone for free, and it's
Mm.
like if you are paying your creator, and it's one a month, so you can use that if you want. If you want to go support me, because I've been going all in on streaming to the fact that I even changed my social names. A underscore Dre Segovia and A Segovia are gone. It is just the Slayer Giant now. So I'm like committing to the bit. But yeah, look forward to my thoughts on Ninja Gaiden 4 next week and Paul's thoughts on it in 2 weeks when he comes back.
Yeah,
So, but Paul, before we catch up and follow up on what we last played, Battlefield 6 came out
it did.
after our last recording. Or no, actually no, it was like yes, it came out after our last recording and it happened the week that of the episode that didn't go live. I've been playing like I finished the campaign. I've been playing a lot. I was starting to think I was gonna write the review for that, but it's like I'm just swamped with not only Ninja Gaiden 4 review, but also another game that I'm reviewing for later this month that I can't say yet what it is. You only have to look at the release calendar, remember what I reviewed last year, and see what's coming out to get an idea what it was. Wink, wink. But Battlefield 6, Paul, like we both loved this beta quite a bit. Uh,
Mhm.
we played many matches of that beta. We had an amazing one ticket left on a breakthrough match right at the end that we were this close to losing and we won it, and that was like euphoric to the umpteenth degree. I've been playing that a lot with my sister and my brother and my brother-in-law. Uh, how are you feeling with the full release?
Well, on the one hand, it's just like the beta, which makes me very happy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, on the other hand, I realized that the maps they did not include in the beta are a little hit and miss. And also, the people that play Battlefield are insufferable. Because I had a wonderful time. I think it was 2 days ago and part of yesterday, trying to just do what I could, having fun, and then just not having anything unlocked started to grate on me a little bit. And then I went through this string of about 5 games where I think the average total was like 5 kills for the entire match for me. I was struggling. I don't know what it was. I could not get people at a good angle. I'd turn a corner, get shot. I'd spawn, turn, get shot. It's just really poor spawn management on me or something. So I went to bed quite fumigated. Um, I said that on purpose. I just want to clarify instead of fuming.
Fumigated.
I just I needed to air out, that's for sure. Today I played just the very tiniest little bit and I was enjoying myself even though we got absolutely trashed. And I'm remembering like my Battlefront days when
Mm-hmm.
you had to go up against that AT-AT and but like nobody knew how to play the game, so you were just getting curb stomped left and right. But like that few people have really dialed in exactly how to play the game. Of course, it's once again snipers, and they're just dropping people from across the map. There's this glitch where you can jump on top of the ladder and you soar across the sky. You can get on top of a drone, and then if you slam it down with the sledgehammer, you go flying up into the air, and then you could just snipe people while standing up high.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they can see you, but nobody thinks to look that high up for a sniper,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just kind of crazy. So there's a little bit of an adjustment to the full release compared to what the beta was, which really dialed in what you were capable of using. I'm not so sure about the open choice of like letting everybody use all the weapons,
Mm-hmm.
because then you have like a support class using a sniper rifle with infinite ammo, and that's a little
Mm-hmm.
crazy. But overall, I think it's just so solid. It's so fun running through the streets. You have just explosions and bullets whizzing over your head. When you're really immersed, you forget just where you are, and suddenly an hour's gone by and you don't even care. So yeah, it's got its issues, but every one of them has its issues, and this one's much better put together than
Mm-hmm.
probably the last decade and a half of Battlefield releases
Literally, because
by a good margin.
yes, because the last decade and a half was marked by Battlefield 4, 1,
Yep. Yep.
5, and 2042. The
And
only
even
one
if
of
you extend
those.
further back, I'm pretty sure it still beats 3 by a good margin too.
Yes, and that one also launched with problems too,
Oh,
and also
big
launched with
problem.
the kind of this lazy marketing campaign where EA was like trying so hard to pit Battlefield against Call of Duty for the first time, like in direct competition. But only
Oh.
the PC version was the one that they were selling like it was. It was like a cyberpunk situation when they were like showing the PC version while the console version were not even remotely close to looking like what they were selling, and that backfired kind of spectacularly for them because it made people more resentful of what was at the end of the day a really good Battlefield multiplayer game that a lot of people still think very fondly of.
Mhm.
Uh, with a the first of many bad campaigns that have nothing that show what makes Battlefield great. And I would say that Battlefield 6 is definitely a return to form. I think that's the best way to kind of say it. It's like it's finally, it feels good to have a Battlefield that took its time to get itself right. It's functional. It was wild getting to play this on launch day with minimal waiting, barely any issues. Um, with quite a healthy amount of modes right now, despite the fact that there's still a lot of them that they're gonna be adding soon. In what you call it, like when season one starts, which is like it's gonna be a free update. Plus, there's gonna be like battle passes and all that, like they always do. I didn't go. We didn't go for the premium edition because there was like no early access. We usually only go for that if there's like early access for any game. unless it was like something like Yotei that came with like some extra armor sets available like from the start and kind of like dye colors. But I would also say that it is a return to form, but it's still like pretty flawed in many ways. I would say that the thing that like you kind of mentioned the thing that you can put everywhere like different weapons in the different classes. There are modes that class lock you, so you cannot do that. So it's kind of funny that they've kind of split the difference of like there's gonna be a few modes that you can be malleable however you want. There's gonna be specific modes that is gonna be exactly as it is. So you pick and choose whichever ones you want. Um, it is really funny now that we know like what the sales figures are that you can absolutely tell who the Fortnite and Call of Duty bros are playing this game
Oh
like
yeah.
because it's like they nerf jump from the beta. They kind of
Yep.
like because it's like call. I feel Fortnite infested multiplayer game with the fact that yeah, just jump and shoot, jump and shoot, jump and shoot, and a lot of people brought that into like the Modern Warfare game. Of Call of Duty, especially by the time Warzone came out, so it was very easy to see how like the same players were like playing with the same styles. This reminds me of the movement of 2022's Modern Warfare 2 that intentionally slowed a lot of things down that fixed the skill ceiling level to more magic because it was like super sweaty and then Modern Warfare 3 went back to the super sweaty. Now you can slide cancel and like slide dodge and all of that, and it takes a bit of an adjustment if it comes from those games, but I feel it's made the game a little bit more fair when it comes to combat, despite the fact that it also has things like recoil and bloom. I'm constantly aiming and spraying, and I feel like the bullets go like here to enemies sometimes. So it's like you really have to be very intentional of how you shoot in this game. And I know there's some people that take issue with that. I don't per se because I feel like that's more of a skill. Because if it
Every
was,
once in a while, I'll get a gun that is perfect, like that
Mhm.
starting SMG for the engineer
Oh, it's
is
so good. Like
such a
SMGs are
laser
so
beam.
good. Yeah.
And then I'll go back to like the M4, which is a fantastic gun,
Hmm.
but then when I put a bigger scope on it, I just all of a sudden I can't hit anything. So I realize that it's a lot of like you need to keep playing with that gun and unlock all the other attachments so you can really mix and match and all that. But I think I just on that last match unlocked, I think was it the M277 or whatever. It
Hmm.
was like the next gun on the carbine list that has a silencer, which
Hmm.
was where I really shined when I was playing the beta because so many people rely on that mini map a ton. And when you have a silencer, obviously you don't show up on the mini map. So I'm really looking forward to that, and that's going to be really fun. But we're just going to keep pushing. I don't think I mind that a lot of the guns are attached to challenges
Hmm.
because really it's like okay, get this many headshots, get these kills. At least so far, none of them are that bad. I did hear a lot of the class ones are bugged, and it's only giving you credit if you do it to like your squad mates versus just in general to your team, but that's just a bug and not really a feature out of it. But it is a little annoying to get so slowed down because I feel like in other games in the past I would have unlocked a lot of these weapons a lot sooner, and this time I'm really like fighting to have like more than one gun that's available to me right now.
Hmm.
But I can see it really getting obsessive because after a while, like that was what I did in Battlefield 4 was you were so excited to get a new gun because that means
Hmm.
you didn't have anything unlocked with it and you could just keep using it
Yeah.
to your heart's content. So I need to like remember what that felt like and go
Hmm.
back to it. Especially now with like Call of Duty doing its thing where, oh, once you unlock the attachment, it's unlocked for every gun, and that kind of
Hmm.
defeats the fun of it for me.
Yeah.
Because then you just click into whatever is best for you, whatever gives you the easiest picture when you zoom in, and then you just kind of move forward with it. But
Hmm.
I want a game to be more than that. Darn it! Once I realize there's no challenges left to complete, I just kind
Hmm.
of check out.
And
And
I
yeah,
really, really, really have a problem with how progression feels because it definitely feels like I can imagine the thought process was okay, we're not even though they say they might go there, we're not annualizing this thing. This is the Battlefield game for a while,
right.
like it should be, like it used to be when there was like a 7 year gap between official Battlefield 2, not Battlefield 2 Modern Combat, which was on console, but Battlefield 2 to 3. There was like a these were games that came when they came. And I can imagine they thought about it that way, but I also don't trust EA because this is where we're in the most heavily monetized area of EA, and right now we don't have quite microtransactions, but I can see a slippery slope that eventually they're gonna be like, let's buy this to kind of like increase XP gains for real. Like I can totally see them doing that. I feel they're like just a few XP gains away from tuning it just right so that it feels like you're making progress, but you're not just earning everything like willy-nilly. I feel from what I remember, Battlefield 4 felt slightly more rewarding than this one.
It
Uh,
definitely did feel like that, but I don't know if that was on release or later on when they
mhm,
started upgrading people's possibilities because they were starting to give away the DLC for free and giving everybody those XP boosters. So I think my own experience with it got a little uh, changed up
mhm.
after a while.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what's so wild because like Battlefield 4, obviously it's a very romanticized Battlefield now. People forget 2013 to 2014, that game was a nightmare. That was the poster child of the PS4, Xbox One generation, of like a generation that gave us so many broken releases. Like games that were just not functional, or people that were barely hanging together, constant disconnects and things and instability. That literally EA was like, we're not doing like I remember this vividly. January 2014, they were like, our plans for the season pass DLC are put on hold because we need to fix this. And that was like all the DLCs that eventually made it. And that also delayed Battlefield Hardline. That was supposed to come out that year, and they pushed it to 2015 to give space to all the content that they still needed to do for Battlefield 4. The state that Battlefield 4 is at right now, it's amazing. The game looks kind of ugly now because it's like it never got like a resolution patch on consoles and that. But if you play it on PC, it's incredible. With what you can do is like that. Any PC can run it at its highest setting, and I
You
would
could still find matches last time I jumped in, which was
yes, it's wild. Yeah, and even in console, like I tried on PS4 and I have the Xbox One version with Game Pass too, because of EA Play. And I would say, even till still to this day, even with a lower resolution, I feel Battlefield 4 has an advantage over Battlefield 6 in that it's very easy to tell who the enemies are. Because now that I played a little bit more, I feel I'm taking more issue with the hyper realism of Battlefield 6 visually. I feel like there's so much gray, browns everywhere, and I feel like there's so many soldiers that really blend into the environment
I
that.
go back and forth on it honestly, because on the one hand, yeah, it's really frustrating because I
Mhm,
can't see a damn thing. On the other hand, I feel like I'm wimping out by wanting that because that's exactly what they did in five, and it looked ugly as hell.
mhm,
Because then it was like you were looking at this gorgeous landscape or this blown up city, and then you just saw like the craziest high
mhm,
contrast sprite
mhm,
of a soldier walking by, and you're like,
mhm,
oh well, I guess that's where the enemy is. And it did kind of take me out of the experience after a while.
mhm.
I want to understand how Battlefield 1 did it so well
Yeah.
because I still look back at that one and I feel like I can see people so well.
Mhm.
Part of it's
It's
because they were
so
really
great.
lenient
Yeah.
with the spotting. You could
Yes.
mash the spot button in just like the general zone and you'd spot enemies. So I feel like maybe that's why it wasn't all that
Mhm.
difficult.
I
I don't know.
actually went back because I have it installed on the Xbox version because it had an Xbox One X patch, so it was like the sharpest way to look at that game right now.
Yeah.
The visibility of that game is so good because like the Nazi like costumes are
Not
so
Nazis, to
are
clarify.
like the fashion like because there's Nazis and fascists depending on like the oh yeah the Germans sorry
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah they're in because Nazis World War II, that's Battlefield
Correct.
5. So like the German forces or whatever like the enemy forces in that game,
Yeah, yeah.
uh it's so big. They're so visible in that environment. Like you can totally see them like in the desert environments, in the French environments. Like there's something that's so easy to spot in that game that I feel works well because of the war it's on. Modern combat is so like because it's like when we think of modern military 90s shooters, I feel that we associate everything this into desert areas like Desert Storm, like going to the Afghanistans and all that, and it's also brownish and visibly like the more photorealistic you get, I feel everything just kind of blends together. I still want to say it's an incredibly pretty game. It looks great in every system that I've seen. I got to see my brother-in-law stream through Discord. He showed me like his gameplay because he's playing on a 5090, like at the high with the highest spec PC you can. It looks absolutely insane, like how photorealistic that thing looks. So there is an appeal at the visual punch because that's always been like Battlefield's advantage with Frostbite, but gameplay wise, I'm having a little bit more trouble getting killed by things I'm not able to see because everything really does blend into the environment. And in short bursts, I didn't notice, and now that I played a little bit more, now I'm seeing that can be like a legit complaint. But take it or leave it. Some people like it. They're like they
Yeah.
trade it because it's still a really pretty game. Still probably one of the prettiest shooters that you can play right now. And unlike the campaign, which
Well, I will acknowledge that it is gorgeous to
yes.
look at.
Hmm.
It's not fun to play though.
It's so boring, and I don't know if it's boring because I played it before. It feels like a greatest hits. It's my same problem that I had with Modern Warfare 2 2022 and also eventually Modern Warfare 3 2023. They
Yeah.
feel like greatest hits of the same kind of missions and scenarios that we played many times before. And the few times that they do something unique, they don't do it well. And I wouldn't even say that what Battlefield 6 does well in its campaign is even something unique. It's like it does feel like this feels like a campaign. If this entire package is supposed to be like a throwback to 2011, 2013 era Battlefield,
Oh
it
yeah.
almost feels like it's like going back to that era of the Call of Duty copycats. I think you just said it in our Discord that it feels like great value Call of Duty campaign,
It
and
for sure does.
it,
But
it's so and
if I wanted to get more granular, even I wanted to like dial in and drill into a couple of things very specifically that I think were very early missteps that put everybody on the wrong foot with them. Because on the first level, you show up, you see the guy's name, you talk with your three assorted squad mates. Then immediately everything starts exploding after like a 5 minute, okay, no, maybe not five, but
Mhm.
like 2 to 3 minute like overview narration of exposition on what happened and why everybody's fighting. And don't worry, guys, it's just a PMC. It's not a country that's starting World War III at all. The Pax Armada is totally evil and are not associated with any country at all. We need to clarify that. Like that was the whole thing. Talk about your HR was in the room when they were
Yeah.
making the game.
Uh-huh.
But really, more to the point of what I was trying to get to is they throw you a gun, you kill about two guys, and the whole rest of it is an on rails
Hmm.
uh, shooter
Sequence. Uh-huh.
with the mounted gun, and then you once again do like the end of the Modern Warfare 2, shooting through the
The
helicopter that's
helicopter.
down, um, and then immediately going into a sniper mission, which is like
Hmm.
those are the two of the things that you do in a campaign, but you do not do them one after the other
Hmm.
right at the
Right at the
start of the
start.
game.
Yeah, it just messes up with the pacing because it's
Yeah.
so. I feel like a Battlefield campaign, the only time that they really got it right has been twice in the Bad Company games because there was a little bit more of a sandbox nature, especially in Bad Company 1. It felt like you were like engaging in the sandbox despite the fact that that was like a tailor-made console game that they were trying Frostbite to do like the destructible buildings and all that, but there was a dynamicism to that you could see like in Red Faction Guerrilla that came around that same time too, and that was their test and it worked because at least it still felt like Battlefield. I wasn't playing something that felt like was copying the competition. By the time we got to Battlefield 3, the campaign started like copying the Call of Duty formula. Follow the guy that has follow everywhere, scripted moments, very linear moments, barely any interactivity. And in fact, and the problem is that they do more linear than even Call of Duty does linear. That's kind of like the
Yeah.
problem. They're even trying to copy it and they just don't do it well. And the only thing that they do get right is the visual spectacle because I would say like the game is at its prettiest in the campaign. If you want to see that campaign as a Frostbite, the latest version of Frostbite flexing, played for that because it's absolutely a pretty game. But
Hmm.
man, I felt like I was playing through the motions and everything. It was only one section that you can control a tank that felt like I was playing a Battlefield game, but a lot of it feels like tutorializing some mechanics
Yeah.
for the multiplayer. It just feels like I'll say
Which
this.
I almost say, like, if you're gonna do that, really lean into it. Give
Hmm.
us like almost a setup of a multiplayer thing,
Hmm.
almost like Battlefield 2 was doing back in the
Hmm.
day, where it was
With
like,
Modern
yeah, it's a
Combat. Hmm.
setup, but you still have like your huge, well, heck, that's just bad company then. So then it's
Hmm.
like, open it up, let us drive the vehicles, let us
Hmm.
destroy the stuff. Because I was really thinking, oh, well, surely because Battlefield 6 is so focused on this destruction, they nailed it. They did so well that the
Hmm.
campaign is going to utilize that. Like they're going to give you a rocket launcher to go take out that wall or something crazy like that. And like they almost do, but it's like, oh, here's an AA gun, you need to destroy it. and you can use like C4 or grenades for it or whatever you have, but like that is so like small potatoes compared to like what if you could take out part of the building on the
Hmm.
level? Um, I
And
don't
the
know, but
part
it
and the parts
was
that you see the full destruction are all scripted. The few times that you can destroy
exactly
environments are kind of like the chest high level, like cover, like when you're like in that
right.
part where you need to like wait for the helicopter to then like board it to finish like the first mission. There's like some debris that you can like destroy in there, but that's like it. It's like Battlefield, like when you can bring down almost like half a building in the multiplayer that's like housing the spawn point or like the thing is like lean into that strength. Is I don't try to be Call of Duty because Call of Duty has that formula down pat. At this point, it's so tiring. Black Ops 6, the Black Ops 6 campaign really was one of the few ones in recent times that at least I felt they were trying few things different in the campaign. The story is the thing that they slightly fumbled near the end. But in the mission variety, that was variety in a fresher way, like because you just started with like your sniper mission because you started like in the not Afghanistan, it was like a after an airplane has crashed in Black Ops 6, and then you do the Splinter Cell style mission that then moves over to the Bill Clinton like presidential campaign where you're kind of
Yeah.
blinking
I
around
I
and all
kind of
that.
blanked out on a lot of that
Mhm.
storyline. It was just it was a lot of nothing, but at least it was something. Oh, that was just the least professional statement I think I've ever uttered.
Yes.
But like, they had a lot of ambition with what they did because they
Hmm.
really were trying to dial in that you can go in other angles and
Hmm.
accomplish this in your own way, very social stealth. And I thought that
Hmm.
was interesting because it worked so well in Cold War.
Hmm.
And I unironically really liked that one, but I did not like it in World War II,
Hmm.
where you
Yeah.
were the spy.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think this one was kind of in the middle. It was all right, but I feel like I was just kind of waiting for that one to continue on. But then
Hmm.
like the chase with the motorbike scene was great.
Hmm.
But I don't think it could top how Cold War opened up with that awesome
Airplane see like you're.
airplane
Mhm.
sequence where yeah, you start off at stealth and then you're shooting it your way out of it and then you're driving off, you get into the plane, the whole deal. Um, no, you don't get into the plane, do you? You blow it up, I think it
Mhm.
was.
Yeah, you blow it up because you have to
That's what it
control the
was.
RC
That's
because you're
right.
not pursuing it and then it's kind of getting away
And
and
the
then you
guy's
put
trying to get away and you're trying to chase him.
and you
That's
put
right.
the RC car
So
and I would say like the missions in Black Ops 6 are better, but the story of Cold War was slightly better because it felt more like a complete thought. Now that we know Black Ops 7 is coming this year, and they're
right.
doing this weird thing with like the and now it's gonna be like a sequel to Black Ops 2, which is still so weird that that game has been like the only way that you can play it is in backwards compatibility on Xbox. They haven't made that game available, and that's what I found so weird. How Black Ops 6 took so many plots from Black Ops 2, like straight up from it was like a follow up to the past.
It
And I
was.
remember them because I played that campaign many times. But man, people that have not played it was like maybe they didn't remember a few of the details of Raul Menendez, like what happened to Alex Mason, Frank Woods
I
becoming a
mean,
cripple.
sheer amount of people, yeah, like that
Mhm.
forgot that Frank Woods couldn't walk or
Mhm.
chooses not to. I can't
Mhm.
remember anymore, but I'll be honest, I forgot as well. And same thing with Mason being supposedly dead or incapacitated in some way, shape, or form. Um, yeah, it was just a weird choice. I'm one of the few people that didn't vibe the most with Black Ops 2's storyline because I wanted them to choose one or the other, I think, for the future and the past
Mhm.
instead of both. Um, and I also felt like it was whenever a company tries to do the like this is the future and the future is hell.
Mhm.
But like it's so close to ours that they try to use all of like the trappings of modern day to like really sell it. Like you don't get your Metal Gear Solids, which always feel just a little bit futuristic and somehow nail it, but everybody's like, "Oh, social media, it's everywhere," and
Mhm.
"Oh, drones, robots." Oh,
Mhm.
I don't know why I just didn't really vibe with that one as much. So I'm
Mhm.
not the most excited for this, even after,
Mhm.
especially after six just kind of came and went for me.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the problem with Black Ops 6. Now that I think about it, because if you remember, there was a lot of fanfare with 6 that it was like an actual return to form. It was like, look what they can do when they give Treyarch 4 years to actually do a game instead of the half a year they gave Sledgehammer to do Modern Warfare 3. And I feel like Black Ops 7 being 7 the year after, look how long it took them to make 6. And look at that. It's just, you don't do a follow. It's like there's always like a danger of doing an actual number sequel immediately the year after that just doesn't feel as good. The multiplayer, I feel, I play the beta of that thing. It just feels very by the numbers. It's like I feel like Call of Duty this year is gonna have an interestingly flat year, I think, based on like how Black Ops 6 was handled throughout the year because it started strong and then they mishandled the multiplayer. No, do you hear anyone talking about Black Ops 6 at all this year other than the indignation of the skins? That was the conversation about around Call of Duty for the rest of the year. Not like they added new zombie modes or maps and all that. That's the first time that I ever saw Call of Duty like completely flatline in a year's like content after being so well received at launch. That's kind of what's so funny. And of course, it had to happen when Microsoft was like fully on board. They, it's like how funny now that they're on board. Now Battlefield like is having its moment, even if it's not like. And that's the thing, like they're having its moment because it's giving people exactly what they want, not skin cancer, no like an actual true military shooter because it's so rare to think, Paul. We used to get these all the time that it was so tiring getting the brouhaha like normal military shooter, and now it feels like we barely get any. And then when we get it
It
from like
was
in
just
weird
every
offshoots.
single day
Uh-huh.
with a new military shooter coming out.
And now we barely get them. And so it weirdly feels fresh.
We
But
barely
then
get them on console. I feel like
yes.
every other day they're coming out on PC still.
But it's like they come in like weird multiplayer options like Escape from Tarkov and things like that
True.
we usually don't play.
We don't
Then
get
like
like the real campaigns and single
yeah,
player
and then
missions.
we finally got a Rainbow Six type game again in Ready or Not. That was like PV like the PvE focus because Rainbow Six, which used to be like a both a PvE and PvP game, completely like forwent PvE and has just stuck with the Siege multiplayer mode, which to me is so sad because like Rainbow, I know it's successful, but I miss having a Rainbow Six that was more complete than what it is, even though it's still working for them. But circling back to Battlefield 6, so like the campaign, if you're one that only buys shooters to play a campaign, absolutely do not buy this game for that. Like it's very short. It feels like you've played this game before, and its only selling point to me is that if you want to see pretty graphics, but I am also of the mindset that pretty graphics can only take you so long if the game is not fun because that eventually will like subside for you. Multiplayer is where it's at, and right now the foundation of Battlefield 6 is such that there's room for improvement, but it's never been better than it is currently in its launch state than it's been here since probably Battlefield 1. And this is modern Battlefield, the Battlefield that people actually like. So I think overall it's still a really solid effort like for EA. Like I'm glad that they actually took the time because they didn't take the time with 2042. They cut loose Battlefield 5 so early because they wanted a sequel immediately like in a year and a half afterward because remember it's like Battlefield 5 2018 by January 2020 gone. They cut both Battlefield 5 and Battlefront 2 at the same time. And then by 2021 and pandemic and all that, we got 2042, and you know how that went.
Yeah.
So they took 4 years to get this right. I commend them for it because it's like earlier this year,
I
would you have
just
expected this, like an
yeah.
actual good Battlefield at launch? I wouldn't have.
Not at all. I'm just really hope that they can kind of push through with what they're doing, be okay with losing the people that are going to go over to Call of Duty like they do every year,
Hmm.
because the people that are complaining right now are mostly the Call of Duty people.
Oh yeah.
Let them be their tourists that they are and let them
Hmm.
move on. Don't listen to them trying to make everything super perfect. I mean, the fact that they nerfed the movement has me at least a little bit hopeful,
Yeah.
but I'm still seeing a lot of people doing some really weird stuff.
Hmm.
Um, Making these laser beam
Hmm.
SMGs with a sniper
Uh-huh.
scope on it and just destroying people.
Yeah.
Um, so I just hope it doesn't turn into a sweat fest. Like I
Hmm.
really want to enjoy my experience there instead of all of the kids being wild out here. I want to be an old man every once in a while.
Exactly. And it just feels so good to like at least have this kind of multiplayer back because it's like what would we usually play? Fortnite, it feels like. Call of Duty was already kind of bored. Like Warzone, I wasn't even feeling at that point. So it's like
I mean, even then, like I kind of dropped off on Fortnite after
mhm.
the Star Wars season kind of broke me there.
Hmm.
But at the same time, that was probably like my only other option for
I went
Battlefield
back
4.
for K-pop Demon Hunters. I needed that roomie.
But how long did you actually play it, or did you just buy the skin and
No,
get?
I actually been playing with my sister. Like whenever we play
Oh,
Battlefield,
nice.
and then I'm like, what I'm doing to do be more disciplined with Fortnite is I'm not buying the battle pass until I get to level 100. I want because every time I buy the battle pass, I never
Oh,
finish them,
yeah.
and then
No.
when I don't buy them, I finish them. So that's why I told her like what we've been doing the quest, the story quest. That's the fastest way to do that, and it's just me and her. So it's been kind of fun doing it that way because we focus on that. We're not a it's not playing with her with her boyfriend and my brother that are like so highly competitive that are always like looking to get that crown and all of that. So I enjoy playing it that way and chilling. And we're like we had a couple wins by pure happenstance, uh,
Yeah.
but it's like we don't play to win, and
You
that's
just yeah, you play to jump in to
mhm.
chat and to have some fun with it.
Exactly. So that's like the only way that I really enjoy it. But I'm glad that we have options. I mean, tomorrow Arc Raiders, the open test opens up. That is like one of the most exciting new extraction shooters that are coming out because that's the game that completely stole Marathon's launch like earlier this year because
Yeah.
like Marathon completely mishandled its closed alpha, and then the Art Raiders thing that the whole art thing that happened with Bungie, which was such a disaster, uh, like happened. And then Arc Raiders was like, this is an extraction shooter that has an identity and has actually really cool, and there's like a lot of buzz to it. And now we'll get to try it this weekend if you want. Uh, it's like there's options now. I like that there's options because I get bored so easy when there's only one type of game. Like I do. So it's why I'm a variety
That's why
streamer,
my
people.
top 10 is like completely different games across the
Yes,
board.
and I love it. And I love it. This has been a great year for variety for sure. But I would say like if I were to review Battlefield 6, it's an 8. I know I've been given a lot of 8s this year, but like my standards have risen. I would say 8 is a pretty great game. I
Hmm.
would have given Battlefield 2042 a 4 or a 3 in its
Yeah.
launch state. So think about that, like how improved it is now. It still has room for improvement. It's like I hope they handle it well, but I'm glad that we have Battlefield like now. So now, Paul, this is part two now of our Ghost of Yotei thoughts. It's gonna be more of a deep dive because we have had now 2 weeks of fully playing it. Last time that you were here, we had only played for like 2 hours. So, how many Yotei 6 have you killed so far?
Zero.
Only the snake.
Only the snake.
Yeah.
So
How
yeah,
many
I guess
hours?
technically one.
Then how many hours have you played?
About 30.
Yeah, 60
I
hours.
I've put a good amount of time into this game and I still have not actually moved forward
Mhm.
the main storyline all that far. I will
But you've
say
done
I've
a lot
got
of the map. You've done a lot of the
yes,
map, a lot of side stuff that's available and things like that.
right.
So
I just feel so obsessed every time I unlock more of those treasure maps. The first thing I want to do is to go get them to unlock more techniques, to more stuff.
remind me,
Yeah.
did Tsushima had the altars to get the upgrades, or was it
Oh
more
yeah.
XP based? Okay, because I
It
just
was
don't
definitely
remember.
not even close to XP. It
Okay.
was always hot springs for health,
Mm-hmm.
the bamboo things for your spirit gauge,
Mm-hmm.
and the I think it was those altar things for the actual
Mm-hmm.
like technique buttons.
Okay, so it's still the
Um,
same, and because that's what I was
it's
trying to
pretty much
remember.
exactly the same. Yeah.
Because that was something that when I was speaking with the bench guy yeah, last week, that we didn't remember how it was. We thought it was more of an XP based thing because I was like, was this the reason why I also went for like entire map completion with the last one too? Because it had all these things that were just so beneficial to your actual gameplay.
Well, that's
But
just it because it was so exploration based is what got you to getting it. But the problem is there was nothing with like the treasure map guy
mhm.
that helps you kind of take down the amount of time you're just running through a field and waiting for a bird to
Question mark.
run by or
Mm-hmm.
fly by. Or yeah, like the question mark to pop up when you get close enough when in the fog of war. This time it's like, all right, at least you can find a few things here and there. And you know what? I think the you could have the flute songs that would
Mm-hmm.
also do the same process where it puts you in the direction of
Mm-hmm.
a collectible, but I don't think you could do that until later on.
Yeah, I
Uh,
remember that. So.
and but it was definitely not XP based, and that's one reason why I loved it so much more than Assassin's Creed, just because
Hmm.
I didn't feel like I was
Grinding.
forced to attack everybody or grinding, like you're saying.
Hmm.
I could just really enjoy that process. If anything, you were farming materials so that you
Hmm.
could upgrade your weapons and such,
Hmm.
um, which is way too easy in this game. But
Yes,
that's a
yes,
separate
yes,
issue.
yes. I don't remember it being that easy in the last one. I feel like.
No, I was at the end hours when I finally would get any of the upgrades because they always had one thing that you couldn't get until near the end of the game.
Hmm.
And this one, that's basically non-existent. There's like a region that
Hmm.
will drop those, but once you have one in your inventory, they will start to drop from everybody.
Hmm.
And that means that uh, a lot of the I did it accidentally because I really wanted the Kitsune the Nine Tails armor because
Hmm.
it looks like the ghost armor but with like a fur cloak, and I was like, that looks really cool, I want that. But by default, that means that I went into the winter region first
Hmm.
after my first kind of foray into other areas. I got that, and then I started collecting all of the end game materials in the like
Hmm.
Yari region,
Hmm.
which meant that I now just have everything. I didn't even really get to experience the intermediate
Hmm.
armor look.
Yeah, because you
I
just
mean,
went
obviously
straight
I
to.
can in the visual, but I just went like, all right, I'm going to upgrade it. Oh shoot, I have enough for the next. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I have enough for the last one. Okay. I want the passive
Yeah, it's
ability.
too
Sure.
generous. It's very generous, so like with that. So I
Very.
feel like, but also I don't know if this is also a problem. I do feel I explore even more in this game than I ever did in Tsushima because it's more inviting of a world because there's literally no question marks whatsoever beyond the yellow dot of the main quest, the flower mark of like a special thing, like maybe a special armor or something.
Yeah.
But just the fact that everything's so naturalistic, even more like the diegetic design is even more pronounced in this game. It's so easy to just get distracted for good and bad.
Very.
Like because it's like this happened. People can go watch my the VOD of my Monday stream. I literally said, I'm here just to gonna do side quests because I need to progress. I want to kill the third. I've killed now three of the Yotei six, but it's like it's basically two that I've killed because the snake is the first one that you kill at the in the prologue. So I've killed two official ones post prologue, and I'm already like halfway through in what they call chapter two. As I was going through that area, okay, I'm heading there. I'm gonna go get the Kusarigama. Crap, there's a bird on the way. Crap, I see a fox here. Crap, it's like everything. It's like so easy to say you don't want to do it, and the game just invites you to do it. It's so because it never feels over. I'll never feel overwhelmed with content ever. And I feel this game does that even better than Tsushima because Tsushima had the fog of war a lot.
Yeah.
That obviously that you can clear with like the Traveler's Atal. You don't even need it here. Uh, like I feel like you can clear the map just easy without having to like see everything, and even then, just by your own curiosity, be like, there's still a huge chunk of like white thing you can go there if you want, and then you find something. So it's like I'm constantly always being rewarded, and I personally just love this environment so much more than I did the island of Tsushima, like because I just prefer mountainous regions, and I feel this game like hits that kind of like more overgrown Pacific Northwest look that has like the flora and fauna and the different seasons and all of that. Whereas there was a little bit of this in Tsushima, but that was also more of an island game. So I feel like I connect even more with like this world, and I still adore the time that I went up Mount Yotei, which can happen really early on, and just like the
Yep.
vistas that you can see. It reminds me of when I went to the Philippines and I saw something so similar. It's just so majestic. There's a majesty to the visual design of this game that works so well everywhere. Even though it's not the most detailed game in the world, you see the jank in the animation. You see the jank on like when Atsu's running up and down the stairs. It's like she's like floating sometimes in the environment. She feels tighter to control than Jin Sakai because
Yep.
I've been like going back and forth with both games just to kind of make sure that I'm not remembering one different than the other, especially when our bench guy was saying that Yotei's R2 is slower. No, it's not. It's faster. It's like way faster than the last game by milliseconds, but it is faster. Like there's
I
more of like
think
compensation.
it feels weirder to me because in your head you're like, okay, this person is drawing a completely different weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And like I guess in your head you're thinking that that's a slower process,
Uh-huh.
but it is like pretty much instantaneous. Um, Trying to think. I didn't really notice any of the like lack of detail for anything like you were saying or the
Hmm.
floating,
Hmm.
because it's been completely like pretty much flawless as far as like
And
animations and movements. The only times maybe like when you're climbing,
hmm.
every once in a while you try to jump and Atsu stays facing the way the wall was. She
uh,
jumps back like Mega Man and then she lands on like a stick. And then that was about it. But I would
think
say
and think
I'm
about
pretty
that.
impressed with everything.
And think about that, Paul, because they said that the budget of this game was similar to the last game. That
Right,
was a $60 million game. They had the same amount of headcount when they made this game because Sucker Punch made it clear that they're a smaller team. It's not Insomniac that has thousands of people and have three separate teams. That's why they're able to crank up so many
right.
games in one single generation because they got like three studios worth of games out of like Miles Morales, Ratchet, and Spider-Man 2, and then Wolverine coming soon. So it's like they were able to kind of. I know there's some people that contest like how could it be like the same budget if it took slightly longer to make. I'm like, no, it didn't because Infamous Second Son to Tsushima was 6 years. Infamous like Ghost of Tsushima to this one was 5. If you don't include the DLC, if you include the Iki Island, then it's 4 years because they
Hmm.
did Iki Island in 2021 and then we got this in 4. So they made it quicker and it looks prettier than like the last one. And the fact that these little things you're not even noticing and it costs the same. We'd rather hear that or hear that this game costs the same as Spider-Man 2. $300 million that then led to Sony have to do layoffs in that studio despite selling like so fast, so quick. That makes me like so like it makes me even more impressed that this game is so beautiful and so detailed while still not 100% there in such little things that so many people are not gonna notice because like who cares when everything else is so pretty if just the one thing is not perfect. All these other games are taking forever because they're trying to get all these little details so right that it's like why it doesn't make the game better other than just like a puffing chest and look how detailed we are. Like I would have rather have more Naughty Dog games, more Guerrilla games, more Santa Monica games that are the same detail as the last games if we could have gotten them quicker. um, and I'm like, we've reached that plateau, and that teaches me. And even on that plateau, I feel like they still managed to uh, assuage my concern that the game looked very similar to the last one, even though that wasn't really a problem per se, because Tsushima was already one of the prettiest games that came out in the last generation, just on art and like lighting and coloring alone. That was such a striking game to always look at. So it was like, yes, like I take
Mhm.
more bad, and they still improved it. They still managed
Yeah,
to improve it, and while still keeping like that.
like you look at something like Tsushima and Yotei now, and I still think that those are both like they're the same. I could use them in the same breath as you can use your like Phantom Pain
Hmm.
discussion and all of the other games from that era. What was the other game that came out in 20? Oh, Witcher 3. Like
Hmm.
stuff like that where it's just a timeless look and everybody's going back and forth on these the puddle gates of each of their games where everyone's like, oh, downgrade central and whatever. But man, let me tell you, it is insane how good those games hold up. And you're supposed to be running around and experiencing them. You're not
Hmm.
supposed to be taking a magnifying glass to every little detail. um, and then whenever they do, it's not enough still.
Hmm.
So it's just amazing what they're even capable of and how Tsushima just continues to age like a fine wine out here.
Hmm.
And Yote somehow looking even better
Yeah.
with all of that it does. I don't think there's a single issue that I would have with the visuals of any of it.
Yeah. And you're on base PS5 and I'm on Pro. And
Right.
you're not even seeing the ray tracing Pro mode, which is incredible. Like what it does to the lighting.
Yeah.
Uh it's like because it's like even stronger. It's like lighting's already the thing that was so strong in Tsushima and that like increases it. But I have it on base PS5 outside of my living room and I played a few hours there. It still looks pretty. It still looks like pretty good. You're not like being shortchanged
Mhm.
if you don't know like what you're missing because what they've done a really solid it's not a rebirth situation where I tell you that the difference between the base and the pro is like literal night and day when you look at them because of the sharpness. That game was blurry. This game's not blurry. It's still a very strikingly beautiful game because it's striking and beautiful in the right things. It knew what its
Yeah.
strengths were, which is art style. It's still like I love the close up. Like you can see like Atsu's face. It's so the detail. I love like whenever you yeah she's facing like the Yotei 6 or like a big boss fight when they're having like the when they're having like the stand up that you get like the zoom
Oh
ins on
yeah,
the
yeah.
face and you see it, it's like it looks so good. It is again, it's like when it needs to look pretty, it does. It just knew when to be smart about it. And it's so technically sound. I never see like a frame rate drop ever. It's like I haven't had the game crash on me yet. I don't know if it has crashed on you at any
I
point.
think it might have once now that I think about it.
Yeah, yeah,
But that was all.
yeah. I don't think I've had a crash from what I remember. I had a crash in Silent Hill, but I didn't have a crash in this one. So it's like it's so technically sound, and the combat just like as similar as it is to Tsushima, like I don't think I can just go back to just the stances after you get a taste of the full upgrades of everything, like of your Yaris, the Kusarigama, the double katanas, the Odachi, the just a normal katana, like being able to like play more not quite character action based game per se, but there's such variety in the movement of each weapon that I like sweet I love the fact that there's a lot of utility to use in a lot of them without them just being like, oh, I'm just switching here just because that's the fastest way to break the stance of someone. I feel like even when I break stance, I'm like, I'm feeling like for example, one thing that I love from the Kusarigama, there's like, you know how the enemies do like the yellow attack that can disarm you?
Yep.
Sometimes they attack you so quick and you're in the middle of an animation that there's no time to charge and be able to like counter attack. If you
Right.
switch to the Kusarigama, do a quick dodge roll and then press triangle, immediately that attack is a yellow attack that can disarm enemies. So you can even kind of like use that just specific abilities from other
Hmm.
weapons to kind of like compensate for things that you can do in the other ones because you can technically charge the weapon for everything else to kind of do that, but there's like things that can also help. So there's like a lot of variety that keeps the combat so fun and it just
Yeah,
feels better.
there's I think it's funny, I've kind of come into the middle ground where my first time on here
Mm-hmm.
was really singing the praises of it.
Uh-huh.
Uh while we were down last week before
Uh-huh.
my time leaving, I
Mm-hmm.
was really kind of dropping off because I was struggling
Mm-hmm.
to avoid all the distractions and such.
Uh-huh.
I was kind of frustrated about like the removal of the styles, and
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed the stances. That's what I meant.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really like when a game has stances, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it changes things up so much. Like that's why I love Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order so much,
Mm-hmm.
because you could do so much with just the one weapon. But I gotta admit that the variety that comes from each of those weapons is fantastic. And my favorite weapons are not at all what I expected to like,
Mm-hmm.
which is great because I thought I was going to be
Is it
like
the
an
Yari?
Odachi dude for sure. I think it's the Yari,
Yep, the
but I
Yari is so
also
great.
am shocked that I really like the dual katanas. Like it's great as a concept, but the fact that it's just so good because it's basically like the shield breaking
Mm-hmm.
move where you can hold down the circle button and
Uh-huh.
you did like this quick movement of things and it just wore people's
Mm-hmm.
stances out regardless.
Mm-hmm.
But with this
It's
one, it's
triangle.
like,
It's holding triangle, not circle.
what was circle and Tsushima?
Dutch, circle.
Okay, then
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. It was triangle.
Uh,
Um, I played so much Legends, and I think they had a different control scheme for some reason. But anyway,
yeah.
so yeah, getting to use that and like some of the moves will bypass any defenses entirely.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some of them are really good with like you have your anti spear kick from Tsushima is now the
Uh,
Yari's kick where you can really charge that up and you can
uh,
kick just about anybody.
do a Liu
Um,
Kang, I Liu Kang kick literally. That's
yeah,
the fly. It's so funny.
um, you can use so many of those moves. It's funny, I've not used the quick fire option at all because I forgot how to do it.
R1.
Um, is that all it? Oh no. Is that the same thing? Because you can have like a bow and arrow and then
Mm-hmm.
use R1?
Yeah, because bow and arrow is range attacks, and then you
Right,
have like
right.
your quick fire gadgets, which early on you don't
Which
have
are
quick.
different, aren't they?
Yes, yes, they're different because like the first one you have is the puff smoke that you can use to blind. Then you get
Yeah, yeah.
fire, and then eventually you get a kunai, and then
Well, is
eventually
there
you get
a
a
way to
smoke
quick
bomb.
fire a bow?
No,
Okay,
oh,
well then,
there is, but
okay, see,
it's a charm.
it's a char. Okay,
Yeah.
because Joe was talking about that, and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, "What is he talking about?" Like, I didn't know you could quick fire stuff
No,
like that.
the thing is that he literally wanted to like in the middle of combat pull his bow and start like
Yeah,
headshotting them
which
while
doesn't
having them
make
in
sense
front
for
of them.
that.
So it's like he was like just not playing it right because obviously
But
I
even
can
then, you
imagine.
should be able to technically if you use the slow motion moves or you jump in
Uh-huh.
the air, but
Yep.
clearly he wasn't doing that either.
No, it's like me being in front of you, trying to like pull the air. Like you can
Yeah,
dodge. That I've done it where I've dodged away. Okay, pull it up. R3 slow mo. If I want to
right.
get them done, like I've done that. And there's the option that in a side quest up north, you get a charm that you can like quick fire the bow and arrow, but you're not able to aim it anymore if you have it equipped because it just becomes like a quick fire thing if you want to do that, and you can
And
kind of
the dragonfly armor is all about archery as well.
yeah, it's like the equivalent of whatever the armor was called in Tsushima that was all about bow and arrow. It's like there's a lot of similar functionality in these armors. They're just named different in this game, but it's like they're like
Yeah.
equivalents from what I remember in the last one. And I love how the Shinobi one looks. You have to,
Yes.
yeah, the Shinobi one looks so great, especially in all black and full armor. That she has like the full mask that covers her, and then like the little veil on top of that is like
Yep.
it looks so cool.
It is so good looking. It almost makes me mad that nothing else looks as good. I will say the armor of the Undying is a real close second because it's a
Yes.
white and black
Uh-huh.
with the fur coat on the back.
Oh yes.
Uh, hmm. but I'm really mad that the Wanderer like Anu one is attached to the
Mm.
30 collectibles in their
Yeah.
region. And I'm like, I don't want to go do that, but
Yeah,
I
I
want
did.
to upgrade it.
But you only need 15. That's the beauty. You only need 15 to upgrade all of them.
I have
I
found two.
I think you should get a song that's gonna guide you to all of them.
Okay.
So that's how I
So
found them
to find that, I
because
guess.
that's what I did and what how I've been like distributing my time playing this. That at night of just playing finding shrines and all of that I've been doing it off stream like when I was doing because this has been a really tough game to not want to play has been my problem because sometimes I just kind of want to keep playing but because I committed to showing a lot of this game on stream I really need to be very disciplined. That's kind of why I'm doubling up on streams this week because I just don't want to give myself like the cool off period because I'm in really good momentum right now where I am in the story. But it's like it's just such a I'll say this because I keep saying I'm gonna give Tsushima another shot because I feel like that game is so tied to my stupor in the pandemic and post Last of Us Part 2 depression. Because remember, I played that game twice because I went for the platinum and and I just wanted to like it wasn't quite the palate cleanser. It really, or it was a palate cleanser, but like the heaviness of the previous game was still there. That I don't remember much beyond its ending, and and also my own saltiness that I know a lot of people use Tsushima as like their ammo to attack Last of Us as like yeah, Last of Us sucks. This is our game and blah blah blah. At least that's kind of how I saw it. But I know it's an excellent game. Like Iki Island DLC reminded me of that a little bit. And I've been wanting to do it again. I kind of want to do it because the one talking point that I've been seeing that I'm starting to see be reflected more that is like Yotei is the better game in everything. I feel I like the story of Tsushima slightly more is like what I've been seeing. My thing with that is that I don't agree because I feel I'm more engaged moment to moment with Yotei's story because it's so clear cut. One of like because I remember a few times that I tried replaying Tsushima. Tsushima is a slow cooker after like the big after like the big battle. Which by the way, there's a battle later in Yotei. I'll tell you that. It's like oh, so it's cool. It's like so if Tsushima gave us the battle early, we get a battle of this caliber like later on.
That's
Uh,
exciting. Love that.
so it's like that game after that exciting intro, then it's like nothing much happens when you're like finding you like the Yara what Yara I think was her name or Yuna whatever her
Oh,
name
the
is.
bow
Yeah.
lady, I think.
Yeah, that had a son that had like not a son, a brother that was like the blacksmith and then like Master
I think so.
Ishikawa and things like that. So it's like it starts like being scattered and it's like later on when you start seeing that the heart of Tsushima's like Jin's honor being like tested of him like realizing that his honor is gonna lose him the war and letting go of like the ways of his dad and his uncle to try to do that. I like that in premise. I just felt like that game was a little too navel gazing of like him always kind of like being like, it's my struggle, man. It's my struggle. Why am I doing this? And I like that Atsu is like, no, there's no BS. Like she is like clear. It's like this is Kill Bill. This is literally Kill Bill.
Yeah.
You know what it is?
Huh.
Yes, there's been like some contemplations that happen of or like what leading a life of revenge can do and all that, but that's coming from outside forces. That is not Atsu's character. Like Atsu's like acknowledges, but she's like, nope. It's like I literally my parents got killed. I got pinned at this tree. almost
Uh,
burn and all that. It's like, no, it's like this, even if it kills me, I know what I'm doing. I feel that drive helps a lot in keeping things moving forward when you're engaging in story. And that's kind of
I
like the problem when
think
you get distracted.
overall, it is a stronger, complete package for sure.
Hmm.
I think I don't remember who said it, but somebody explained like they finally dialed in that why a lot of people were liking Tsushima more was that the stakes felt higher.
Hmm.
And Yotei is a very personal story
Yeah,
where like if you like the very specific no frills revenge tale,
this is
you're
your
going to
game.
be
Hmm.
very happy.
Yeah.
But if you wanted more of that, like, oh man, this invading Mongol army and the
Hmm.
nation against the nation of Japan, which is just really not prepared for the tactics of this new pragmatic enemy, that's very interesting to a lot of people. And to watch like one of the golden sons kind of fall from grace in order to save it,
Hmm.
um, losing everything in the process with of his old life, that really resonates with a lot of people.
In
And
premises,
I
the premise is stronger. Like when you put it like that,
yes,
like what it is about, like it is a stronger story
but then
like
like
in
you
general
said, the
premise, but the moment to
execution is
moment
it's
mixed.
so much different because you're sitting there doing really banal tasks and really quiet things, which is great in some ways, and in some others, it's like, all right, we're going to do the same thing for about 30 hours and then you're going to be done. Um, I think I'm still kind of in between in some areas. However, I think I've come back to saying that Yotei is still like the stronger of the two because of the
Hmm.
ambition behind it, the
Hmm.
dialing in of what is available. Um, and I really like the bounty system, which has really just kept me going throughout
It is a
all of
side
that.
it is a side quest like system because like it's such they're such great bounties because
And there's
all of them are
always
so
something going
unique
on.
and they're so
Then,
unique all the
yeah,
time.
there's always somebody going to do something different, or like this person's doing it because they're a gambler. This guy is known for drowning his enemies. Um, excuse me. There's somebody who's like an older person who's tricking people into staying at this camp. There's another lady who offers tea, and it's like she'll trick you into doing that. And like there's always something going on, which I really appreciate because it's not just random towns that have been taken over by the Mongols. It's like, all right, what are we doing here? Who are we trying to find?
Hmm.
And like there's nothing that I can really complain about
Hmm.
because it's a game that I like. But at the same time, I can also understand how some people are like, "Man, this is the same game again."
Hmm.
They're wrong,
Yeah.
but I could see when you're looking at it just from like the set dressing, it is still the same meal, just
Hmm.
prepared again, slightly better
And
after
I
5 years.
and this has been something that I've been noticing a lot with the Sony sequels this generation, specifically in the PS5 gen, that it's like we're getting the kind of sequel that 2 generations ago came to us 2 years. Uncharted 1 or Uncharted 2, Infamous
Yeah.
1 to Infamous 2, and things like that. That is like an improvement. It still looks like the game, the previous game, but because now it takes forever to get these games, it's like when the leap is as small and the time to wait is longer, I feel people feel a little saltier about it, despite the fact that sequels are meant to be like refinements of things. And I do feel like the jump from 2013's The Last of Us to Last of Us Part 2, like that's a leap. Like like the way those
Massive.
games feel, it's like it's you definitely feel it, but it's like that had an advantage that they had an Uncharted 4 in between that taught them a lot of lessons on how to use the hardware and new mechanics that they even circled back to what they did with The Last of Us. That made the leap feel more pronounced from like where it was in the original Last of Us. If you play the 2013 version and you play the remake, you feel the stiffness. The remake plays better, art style wise. Obviously people there's some preference that people feel miss the cartoon realism of the PS3 era visual style, while others like the more photorealism of modern audio. But in the game feel, you feel the leap, and we don't get those kind of leaps. The games feel very similar, even though for the most part almost every game and feel is an improvement. Obviously like you and I have like mixed opinions on how Spider-Man 2 improved over 1, because for you it's like because they let go of the gadgets that you use, whereas uh there's a lot of that game that when you play both of those games back to back, you can feel that. Two is a more aggressive, more like complete, more like in its combat, like what you can do like in the actual move sets in milling people and then the speed of stuff is like you just definitely feel it, but it's also if from a surface level it feels similar. It looks similar. And in your case in that game, because you had a specific playstyle that they screwed you over
Yeah,
with, like it's a different feeling, and you really had to work hard in trying to get some of those things that they took away from you back, despite the fact that that game improved in so much, like just in gameplay, not in story. Story was a step back. That's still a
for sure.
that's yeah,
But
that's
that's a
the,
separate
a
discussion
separate
we're gonna have
discussion.
another day.
Exactly. But I feel like that's kind of what's happening, and I would say Yote more than most. Definitely in its set dressing feels the most similar from all of them. But when you're actually playing it, I feel like it's so easy to say like this. It just feels so much more, so much better. And I'm continually compelled to keep playing it. And I also feel that game is just like the fact that it's stronger. Like this, the writing just feels generally stronger. I just love the interactions Atsu has with anyone that comes in her way. Like yesterday, I played a section that I thought was so genuinely touching how it was done because I also love how there's a mysticism to this game that even though it's not overtly
Yeah.
mysticism, I just love that there's just something about Japanese culture that I feel like the folklore mysticism is so inherent to it's like
It
to
seems
what makes Japanese.
easier to blend with modern elements, not
Mhm.
modern, grounded and realistic elements.
Yeah. Whereas Ghost of Tsushima, I felt like base Ghost of Tsushima was a little bit more grounded because it was more focused on the war effort against the Mongols. Even though
For
there were
sure.
like a few things that you can get that there were folklore. Iki Island is the one that brought in more mysticism with like what's happening with the whatever the villain was called in that DLC.
Honestly,
Uh,
for some reason, I have pushed it all out of my brain,
uh,
not to my own choice, because I feel like I enjoyed it, but I cannot tell you anything that happened
uh,
outside of the arena. It was the
uh,
only thing I remember.
Yes. So it's like that's and again like that's me just in general with Tsushima beyond the ending. I still remember the ending. The ending was so beautiful. It was so beautifully tragic and me like not fulfilling that uncle's desire. It was like such a big backstab to like his life as a samurai and the path that I chose for my Jin. That it's like that's the one part that I remember the most, but I don't remember anything else. And whereas I think I'm gonna remember a lot of this because I feel it's easier to wrap your head around because it's so much more personal. I've always been more, I like my personal stuff more than grander, is why I like Empire. That's why I like because Empire is like the smaller scale story of the
Oh,
Star Wars trilogy. So
yeah.
it's like I feel it's easier to the smaller moments to be something your mind wraps around easier. Whereas grander stuff, it has to be really good for like the best of it to remember. It's I do find interesting that the one thing that people do remember Tsushima is the small moments of Jin and his uncle. Those are unanimously the things that people remember that, but that was not the entirety of
That's
that
what comes
story.
full circle so hard,
At the
and
end.
like the tragedy of it all really coming
Mhm.
really solidly near the end of it. But what I'm really hoping, I think that's one reason I was afraid for uh Gyotei kind of trying to follow in its footsteps in a few
Mhm.
ways to avoid spoilers. But as you would know, there's a certain connection point
Yeah,
that
I saw
could
it.
be used,
Mhm.
even down to kind of the motivations and the one track mind of the main character leading to conflict.
Mhm.
Made me a little concerned about like where they were going to go with that and how they were going to play it. If it was going to end up being very similar to Tsushima, or if they were going to try to like pull the rug out from under us.
Uh,
Um, Either way, I'm very interested in seeing what it is, but at the same time, usually I feel this sense of anxiety to like finish a game as fast as I can so I can find out the story,
mhm.
and I don't feel that here.
In
Which on
good
the
or
one
bad.
hand, see, that's where I'm going to explore that for a
Uh-huh.
second, because on the one hand, that's great because I don't feel the urge to like push through and ruin the experience for
Mhm.
myself, or like miss out on all the side content. On the other side, I do worry that I'm not being pushed towards like the actual story because everything else is more interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because it does kind of feel like every conversation is one of like two things, and it's, oh, I was killed by, or I was nearly killed by the Yotei Six, and I hate them so much, and I'm going to kill all of them. And it's
Mhm.
either fantastic job, let me help you out. I hate that, and I hate you, and I'm going to try to kill you. Or, man, revenge is really a bad situation,
Uh-huh.
and you should really not worry about that. And your responses are always just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And
No,
I
yeah, yeah.
appreciate it, but it is also a bit tiring when
Mhm,
every conversation goes the exact same way.
mhm,
Um, so if there's one thing I did like about like the Anu area,
mhm.
I knew it was that
The
their
different vibe.
philosophy. Oh
Mhm,
yeah, the vibe was so different. They have a really interesting philosophy of like how they live their lives and how they see revenge. The way like there's a little quest that you go through and you save a bear cub, you bring it back, you show it to the rest of the town, and Atsu very like common sensely is like, isn't this super dangerous? And eventually this bear is going to grow up big enough and it's going to slaughter like
mhm.
several of you. And she's like, oh no, we'll sacrifice it far before it becomes a problem. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And like even where Atsu even is just like, excuse me, what did you just say?
Uh-huh.
And she's like, no, we saved the bear. It's going to have many years of peace and love, and then we
And
will put it down safely and humanely. And I was like,
yeah, I remember that.
okay.
Yeah, I captured that on stream too. It was like
That was
no, and kind of like, see, like I like that vibe because there's something I was just telling our buddy Rick because he just went there first, and I was like,
right.
this feels like to me it feels wrong if you haven't even
No.
seen much. That's the first thing you see because you're like
That
literally
is like the
slow walking.
breather
Yes.
zone. And I hit that just at the right time because I was
Hmm.
struggling. I was doing the same thing and I was
Uh-huh.
really fighting. And thank goodness I went there eventually because then it was like, all right, reset,
Hmm.
chill out, hang out in the nature, go walk around with some people. And that was good because if I'd gone there first, I would have been like, why the hell are we on this like on rails Twilight Princess segment here?
Hmm. Yeah.
But
And me
yeah.
knowing that you still haven't fully engaged in the main stories of the Oni and the Kitsune, which are like the two areas where because you have the weapons from those areas, so you're there.
Yeah.
When you're actually engaging in like the story moments, there's really cool stuff that happens in the Oni side, especially like in the Oni side, just to try to keep it as spoiler free as possible. You meet a very specific character that I found was a legit twist and a surprise I wasn't expecting. Because I thought it was gonna go a different way, and the same thing happened with the Kitsune. Like what that ends up being, that
Oh, okay. So I'm looking
that
forward to
it
that.
because I was like, okay, maybe I could have probably seen that coming because of questioning why certain things were going a certain way, like like the convenience factor, but how that dovetailed into like how that is like how that is result. That's when I texted in our group chat yesterday. I was like, I just saw a part that I found like legit,
Oh, the emotional side
genuinely,
of it.
yeah, genuinely
Yeah.
touching how it was like handled, and
Well,
it's
that's
like near
exciting
the end.
because
It's near the end of that story, so I would say
yeah.
like once you start engaging on that, because right now because you're engaging right now in the okay, this is the open area where you can get to choose the which one you're gonna do first, so we have to
Right.
start generalizing the objective because it's like either you go here or you go here, you have the choice. Once you're in it, the unique stuff starts happening, and I'm glad that how the Oni part goes is completely different to how the Kitsune part went. And now that I'm like in the final parts, which thankfully it seems like the Yotei 4 and 5th one are together. So you get to like
Right.
because one in
The
one
spider and the dragon.
the Saito brothers.
I
So
was wondering if they would be like at first they'd be together and then you'd kind of like split
mm,
off, but I think that'll change up the dynamic quite a bit. And
mm,
I also really liked how the even with the Oni situation at one point you go undercover under him
uh-huh,
and you're trying to figure out his deal.
uh-huh,
Um, it's just really interesting to me how that plays out and how each one has a very distinct style and personality to them that I feel was very missing from certain other feudalistic Japanese
Assassin's
games
Creed
that came out in
Shadows. Yeah.
2025.
Yeah, let's just call it how it is. Let's put shadows in the front of the congregations. Like shadows by going so wide open halfway through that story.
Yeah.
There's barely any uniqueness with like the decor or the Shinbankufu, I think it was called, because of the way because it was too wide open. This one is like because they're lesser targets. I feel like it allowed Sucker Punch to at least tailor what you do with each targets in a way that everything feels different. That is the key to that. And I can't wait for you to see all of that because I'm like, once I start engaging with the story, it's like, okay, the Kitsune part does have a few issues in the main story thread because there's gonna be a few too many fox statue puzzles that you're gonna like be doing where you have to kind of be moving some stuff that I was like, Another one, really? Another one of these back to back? Okay, let's say, and this it's not that they're that hard, it's just they're just annoying. But the story resolution of all of it was worth it. And I'm curious how everything will resolve now where I am with some new additions that have come out. And then I'm like, okay, I kind of like what this dynamic is set up between the two characters that you meet in the specific regions that meet each other. Then you kind of go down south to the Oshikawa region, which is where Nagasaki is. I met the joke, I was like, let's enjoy this place before it got nuked. And But it's like, yeah, it's gonna be playing more when after we finish
For
recording. Like,
sure. And
I'll be
I am
playing.
fighting between all of the stuff that we have to play.
Yes, but good thing is like the headlines are kind of pretty self-explanatory, so we should be,
Yeah.
yeah,
Let's cut through that and
mhm,
let's get back to playing some games.
exactly. So, headline time. Battlefield 6 has become the biggest launch in series history, selling 7 million in 3 days.
I That is a crap ton because it's usually like you're waiting for a game to get to a few million. I mean, like
To 3 million, 3 or
we're
5
used to
million after
like
like
Call of
5
Duty
days.
numbers usually, but
Mhm,
still, that's a lot for a game that
mhm.
had a really rough time until recently.
Yeah, and it just really goes to show that the momentum that we were all feeling of, oh, they might be cooking here, like there might be something here, like after the preview event they did, the open beta, the closed beta, and then open beta almost immediately, the seeing Call of Duty fold with no skins, the Beavis and Butthead and like Nicki Minaj and all those skins, they're not gonna like they're staying here in Black Ops 6. No, they're not happening in Black Ops 7. Oh, we're eliminating skill-based matchmaking in a playlist finally. The thing that you guys have been asking since 2019 Modern Warfare that we decided not to do. Because our data showed us otherwise. Now they're like, no, we're gonna have the non-skill based matchmaking. It's like when you see that Call of Duty was doing those things and learning that they lost $300 million by putting that thing on Game Pass, it was no lie that like it was not just online chatter that Battlefield 6 was like coming in like a storm. Here's your proof. 7 million in less than a week. That is that's like literally finally seeing a competitor get this close to like the kind of numbers that Call of Duty has been. And Call of Duty has had very big numbers. This is where it's starting. And these are slow cookers. This is the game that's supposed to be here for a while. So it's like congrats to them because like it's
I really
well
hope it
well
actually
deserved.
does stick around and that it just continues with its uh, great content because there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of other stuff coming right behind it that's gonna
Mm-hmm.
keep it on its toes, and we're gonna hopefully keep that
Yeah.
fire lit underneath them.
Yes, but it definitely feels this is absolutely Battlefield 6 year. I feel that even more so after playing the beta for Black Ops 7, even though I still want to play Black Ops 7 because I am so curious about that co-op campaign. I
I
am
want
so
to at
curious.
least play it, but
Uh-huh.
I have zero interest in that multiplayer.
Exactly. Yeah. Multiplayer, I tell you, it's so
Mm.
it still has the Omni movement, but lesser movement too, but there's still Omni movement.
But then there's
There's
like wall jumps, not
yeah,
wall
well
runs, and
exactly. It's
like the weird stuff. So
mhm.
we're getting back into the dark days of
Of Call of
Infinite
Duty.
Warfare,
Uh
and I remember it so well, unfortunately.
Exactly, and it's so funny because I would have sworn that they had been very loud and clear that not what people wanted. At least
Oh
Battlefield
my
went back to what
goodness.
people actually wanted, even though it still like doesn't feel like fresh territory. It's just an execution of old idea, feeling fresh because we barely see this kind of game anymore,
Yeah.
like as constant as we used to. Next headline: Ghost of Yotei had the biggest first-party launch in Europe for PlayStation since Spider-Man 2. And according to Chris Drake, which is like he's over at the game business, who kind of like he has access to like the actual track number data of what's happening in Europe. Uh, it is sales aligned with Ghost of Tsushima, and that is very notable because Ghost of Tsushima came out in the pandemic and when the PS4 install base was at its highest. Think 116 million consoles out in the wild versus 80 million PS5s right now. Like we're in the generation, and the fact that it's selling just as well with lesser console, with a more expensive console now because of the price hikes, a more expensive game, $10 more than Tsushima. Uh, is like that is pretty. That to me is people there was like some chatter be like, is Ghost really a thing? Was Ghost just kind of like a big thing because everyone was locked in, it was the pandemic and all that? Will it even have the same strength now that we have been flooded with so many open world samurai games? Like, kind of like the samurai thing has been done to that compared to Tsushima, that it was like one of the first few besides Neo that was kind of like playing on that aesthetic. That was a big. I remember that was a big reason why you wanted it because you loved Samurai 7. You were not getting like
Nope.
it wanted this caliber. So I feel this solidifies that Ghost of Yotei is legit one of Sony's like most powerful like IPs right now, and I
It's
would
about
certainly
time
say
everybody acknowledged it.
yes. Ghost of Yotei like underlines it. Like it reviewed
Yes.
better. It's selling just as strong. All the fake controversy over Atsu as a character, empty noise. Like absolutely not. And the fact that she's such a stronger character too overall is like that's just icing on the cake. So
Huh.
congratulations to Ghost of Yotei. Like I do, I feel your success is well warranted. And being ahead of Spider-Man too, freaking Spider-Man,
Of all
that's a lot.
things.
This says a lot of how things are going, especially with Spider-Man 2's up and down reputation in nowadays.
Oh,
So next headline. This is like Quantic Dream, the developer of Detroit Become Human, Heavy Rain, and Beyond Two Souls, announced their first multiplayer game called Spellcasters Chronicles, a 3v3 strategy action game that you are also in shooter and doing magic and all that. You look at it, it looks straight out of Fortnite. It absolutely looks like a bomb in the making. And this is another example of a developer that is known for one thing, pivoting to other things, looking for dollar signs that are clearly not gonna work. And they did confirm that they're still working on Star Wars Eclipse. I don't even know if that thing ever makes it like. Remember Eclipse? It's been 4 years since it's
yep.
been
I
announced. We have not
remember
seen
it.
it.
It's getting to that like Elder Scrolls 6 kind of
Uh,
talk where oh my goodness, it's been around for a while, but they announced it a little too early there,
mm.
and that means not good things for its health.
And not only that, here's the worst part, Paul.
Mm.
That was a High Republic game. Look
Yep.
what, yeah, we look where the High Republic is currently right now with the cancellation of the Acolyte and things like that.
Um,
It
I
feels
think the
solid.
only place that it's doing great
Is
is
the
the book still.
Yeah, and that's
Um,
and that's where it was originally from. This was the
yeah.
expansion of being like, ah, yeah, the books are doing relatively well. Some are not great. Some are still, some
This is
are.
like it was supposed to be the modern day Shadows of the Empire, like multimedia outing and stuff. Of course, they didn't freaking do. They tried to jam that into Jedi Survivor instead of make their own game about it. But,
Mhm.
um, gosh, I'm so mad about where Star Wars is right now. But
Yeah,
I,
I need like a in a post Andor season 2 world right now, and like the shaky nature of that
it really is coming
Mandalor.
down to like that Starfighter movie.
Hmm.
I think is going to really be the make or break, and if we even get a sequel to Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, we were. The sequel to Jedi Survivor is happening. That's confirmed by EA. That's the one thing that Respawn is
Well, they
still
said
doing.
that they were still working on it, but I'm so afraid that by the time 2027 rolls around, it's either that thing needs to come out or it's at
Uh,
risk.
yeah, I 100% understand, and the fact that they lost the director of the first two games, Stig Asmussen,
Right.
so I can imagine that had anything to do with probably why it's also. We haven't heard much from it, and also EA right now is going through the Saudi sale, so we don't know like what
Right.
like how that is gonna be looking, with what studios are gonna be left over and things like that. So, but Quantic Dream, like, good luck with this. Like, we know what happened to Concord. That's all I'll say.
Yep.
So, this was something I talked last week in that last episode, but I think it would be worth talking with you here. Claire's Scare Expedition 33 surpasses 5 million copies sold with free content update on the way. So why always
Wow.
hearing the copy sold thing is important for Claire's Cures, because this is a Game Pass game. So they have not, this game has been played by so many people because of Game Pass, but they don't include that. Like they specifically always say, no, we have sold this, like despite the Game Pass availability, because that's like raw sales, and that's like for a 33-person team, that's a massive success for them. I can't imagine the free content update they're doing is gonna be like close to Game Award territory, because that's probably like you know how like the Oscars do the first year consideration campaigns of like, hey, so you remember this, like yeah. So I can
Don't
imagine that.
forget.
I can imagine. To me, I still fear Expedition 33 is still the front runner for what I feel people's game of the year will be. It's still yours. I go back and forth with that and Death Stranding too. Like so, but I would be happy if it won, like for real, because I see how that game has touched people that are not close-minded brick walls. So
It's like even if it's not your game of the year, you can't deny how powerful it is. I mean, just the fact that almost everybody that I watch playthroughs of either cried or had a
mhm,
massive reaction to multiple points of that game, as
yeah.
opposed to everybody else who was just like, yeah, whatever. And
Mhm,
if you explain it in just like a summary, you kind of lose the power of it all. But just
mhm,
the power of everything going on and just firing on all cylinders is
mhm,
truly amazing for a team like that. And I'm happy for free content. I'm happy
mhm.
for it to do really well, and I hope that it continues to get its flowers
Are you gonna go back for this update, or are you moved on fully?
eventually. But I really need to like actually finish everything else that I want
Mhm,
to have done by the end of the year.
mhm,
So I need to finish Yotei. I want to put a lot more hours into Battlefield,
mhm.
and I think I want to like feel like I'm ready to go back.
Uh-huh.
Um,
I've been thinking about
yeah,
like
we'll
what
see.
the rest of the year looks for you. I feel you're done, right? Like things that you really want, it feels
Pretty
like it's done
much.
for you.
I don't
So
remember what else is coming out in November and December, but it's there's not much that I feel is really like
mhm.
gonna grab me for the most part.
Yeah.
I'm kind of scribbling through here.
Mhm.
Um,
Nothing jumping for you,
Stalker
right?
2 hits at the end of the month, but it's a game I've already played.
Uh-huh, the PS5
Um,
version.
and when is Metroid? But I mean, like that's kind of
December 4th.
it's kind of maybe or maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah.
Especially now that our
Yeah.
incentive to to
Get
go
Nintendo
halvesies
games
on
is
something.
different. Yeah, it's different. Like
Yeah,
I'm doing that now with my sister because I'm linked with her with like what we did because we had our switches together. We still need to do that with
nice.
the Escape account so we can
I
kind
think
of do
this is
that.
about it. Yeah, that
Yeah.
I'm looking through it all, and this is pretty much everything. Now it's just going to be catching up on
hmm
anything else that came out during the year that
hmm
I missed.
Chronos is one that I'm still would love to see for us to eventually. I think that could get into a sale pretty soon. And Chronos is the
Sure.
surprise of the year for so many that I think that would be like a good one. Now that we
Yeah.
have like run out of things basically, and to me like what's rest for the year is like Ninja Gaiden, which is next week. We're already playing. We can say much. At Dragon Quest 1 and 2 remake, you were not big on the 3 remake, but that 1 and 2 remake is coming.
Hmm.
That's at the end of this month. Call of Duty Black Ops 7 because I always play and review them like for the site. Age of Imprisonment is early November. I wouldn't mind playing because I kind of enjoy Muso, but I don't know. You are like you play like I think you're like many people. You start playing and it's fun, and then you drop off immediately. Kind of like what happened with
Pretty much. Because it's like I'm so into the character action games that have the depth to it that
mhm,
that game feels like playing Zenless Zone Zero, where
mhm,
you've really only got a couple of options and you're redoing those over the course of like 40 minutes.
mhm.
And then I was just, I don't really feel it as the
Yeah.
same way, you know?
Yes, it's a to me those are great podcast games. Me that I listen to podcasts, like if I need something mindless to play, they're good for that. Again, like I feel like there's so much from September because that was such an onslaught. We're about to get to sale season. That's probably how we're gonna cover November and December at
Oh,
this
yeah.
point. But yeah, I wouldn't mind going back to the update. Like I love, I still Expedition 33 is my soundtrack of the year. I still go back to it. Like it's still like that's probably why that game has lingered so much in my mind. And the reactions from streamers, I found so many that always like reacts such a in such a powerful way that underlines for me why that game is so powerful and makes me it's easier for me to like shut off like the Descent conversation about that because it's like a emotion is a powerful thing and I feel like that game like it's so hard to like discredit how it's hitting for people. I said in my review it's an hypothesis of its narrative with its visuals and its music like coming together to make a rousing emotionally touching package and that's what makes
Yeah.
it special, even more special for it being a smaller team. So even though a lot of people are taking the smaller team thing a little too extreme at this point, that it feels too South Park fart
Yeah.
smelly conversation. How people are. Do you see that one that was like being shared about? It's like I hate gaming. I've never played. Like I think gaming sucks right now. I'm playing Expedition 33, and I don't. It's like
No, I'm very glad I did not see that.
thank God you have not because I feel like we have that's I feel the one sad part of where the Expedition 33 conversation has gotten is that obviously the one thing that gets so praised early on then we just start getting the detractors and I feel right now there's the camp of like the JRPG lovers that are like why are you like glazing this one where it does so much of what like, it does what so many JRPGs have been doing for years, you only play this because it's not anime look and all
Hmm.
that. And I do feel the most annoying fans are the flybys. It's got the passengers. Kind of like we're
Oh,
annoyed with the Battlefield passengers that
the
are
ones that
clearly.
everybody heard. Oh, this is really popular. Let me go try it out. Wow, I
Uh,
actually hate this.
exactly. So screw that. But another game that's also getting an update. Our second favorite game of last year, Paul. New Indiana Jones and the Great Circle update includes new game plus, new ending, classic outfit, and more. I'm actually curious about that new ending thing
I am
because
definitely gonna check that out.
uh,
Because it's been longer since Indiana Jones came out, so I
mhm.
definitely want to. Because
And we have the
I'm
version now
working.
we have the
Yeah.
PS5 version too.
Well, the problem is I'm working on a regular new game
Uh,
version of it, so I need to do that and then play New Game Plus so I can get to the new ending.
exactly. So you would have to go
Don't
back to
know
the
if I'm
Xbox
gonna get to
version.
that. I might just forget that exists and then
Mm-hmm.
be surprised when I finally do get to the New
Mm-hmm.
Game Plus version because that's a pretty beefy game to try to do like the
Mm-hmm.
entirety of what I'm doing and then to go back and redo it all.
I realized that when I was like, I think I kind of want to platinum Indiana just because I loved it on Xbox so much, and I was
Yeah,
doing everything at the Vatican. I was like, holy crap, there's so much.
there's a
I really need that. It made me appreciate the depth of that game even more because I saw so much stuff that I was like, this was here. You could do
yeah.
this. That's wild. So it's
What I
like,
think the best thing to do is at least to get access to all of the places, and then that way you can just kind of jump between them
mhm.
at will, whereas so you don't get too burnt out. Hopefully,
Yeah, such a great game. Ah man, I'm just thinking about that. It's like, if it wasn't for Reaver, that would have been our game of the year. And in our
yeah,
combined list, when that was gonna be our game of the year, but then we had to bring in the passenger
the
that
other
ruined
crew.
it. Yeah, no, just one. That's no longer here right now.
Yeah, I was trying to
Yeah,
pass aside the responsibility, but
yeah.
yeah, it was one specific individual.
But
But in any case,
quick word. Skate Story, Devolver surreal skateboard game launches in December. I have been hearing about this Skate Story game for so long because a lot of people, as they've been waiting for Skate or Tony Hawk to come back, and they had like session and all this like offshoots, they finally have a release date for that one. So look forward to that. Dissidia Duellum Final Fantasy, the return of the Dissidia battle fighting game, is a mobile 3v3 battle game which brings Final Fantasy characters into modern Tokyo. And the character designs are being done by none other than Tetsuya Nomura.
I'm a little mad about that one because it's on mobile only,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me with all
Yes,
this?"
yes. And the thing is that Square has been really, with the exception of Ever Crisis right now, a lot of stuff that have been like mobile eventually gets ported over. And this
Right.
feels like something that could be ported over maybe to the Switch
I
or.
just don't know if I understand the gameplay loop enough to
Mhm,
where it's like it almost feels like a gotcha thing because you're
mhm,
trying to get like other outfits for people and all
mhm,
that. So I don't know if it's going to really have the gameplay loop that
mhm,
we all really loved with Dissidia because that was such a fun uh just arena style fighter game. And I don't even know if I would enjoy playing regular Dissidia on modern
mhm.
consoles either, frankly. So I don't know if I've just kind of aged out of that bracket or what.
Now the question is, do you ever play the Cities on PSP or do you only play the
Oh yeah,
PS4 one? Okay,
no,
because
I played it on PSP originally for both of them. I
Mhm,
just the story was so just absolutely not inconsequential. It was just like incomprehensible.
mhm,
It made zero sense to me at
yeah,
all. And it was just the same kind of thing over and over again. But at the time, I really liked that because I
mhm,
loved playing as Cloud and Leon
mhm.
and all of the others. But the funny thing is, I didn't even know the names of anybody else. So I
That's
played
pre
like three characters.
exactly. So I feel like that's what's so funny because now that you know more of Final Fantasy, because I've gone down that rabbit hole, I've shared that rabbit hole with you, I've explained it to you. You
Right.
played more of seven
There's
because
a lot more of like even one and four.
you
Even
finishing
like,
four finally. Like,
yeah, oh my gosh, that was a big deal for me.
mhm,
But anyway, it's maybe, but it's definitely not something I'm going to go out of my way for,
mhm.
really at all.
Yeah, when it gets to console, I would consider. I'm gonna keep an eye on it, like to see like what kind of game it is, because I've been seeing a lot of screenshots posting of the characters interacting with each other. That I'm like, is there like a Persona thing going with this thing based on like also the modern Tokyo thing? And it's funny seeing that because I just play a game where you're set in modern Tokyo, and a lot of which was Digimon Story, Time
Right.
Strangers. It's like the visual similarities are so funny. I do love how the character designs look with the kind of like the modern look, specifically two
Hmm.
characters that I'm not gonna mention that
Yeah.
yeah. Made it for
Just to
me.
clarify, Tara is 18.
Hmm.
That
Yep.
I had to Google when I came out. It was like, surely she's just like a young teenager or something.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
no,
but
sure
it's
enough.
but I
Who would
feel
have
I
thought?
can't wait to see like what the artists, the people that love doing art are gonna do with this.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
gonna have a lot of fun. I mean, the art is already going crazy for like Cloud specifically,
Hmm.
and his little tight pants.
And what's
Um,
happening with Lightning and Renoir from FF8.
well, you see, I
So,
haven't seen any of those yet. I've mostly just seen people redrawing the outfits of like Leon and Cloud.
hmm.
I've seen because Leon has some kind of aviator jacket as well in his version.
Hmm.
But anyway, I'm sure eventually I'll end up spotting a lot of it.
Yeah.
Um,
We'll see it because people like there. I feel like I follow enough of the accounts that are so big into FF that I'm gonna get them regardless. The Night Sky Princess and things like that. So, um, the Audrey that Aitai Kimachi is like a girl named Audrey that always posts like that's how I saw the ultimatum book of FF7 and 16 because she got it first because she got the Japanese and she was like translating and showing screenshots and all that. So all these content creators that I follow, they're sure to show me
I
this.
see.
And finally, final headline: acclaimed narrative adventure 1,000 times resist, which I kept hearing about this damn game so much in like year-end list last year, but it was only available on Switch and PC, I think. Heads to PlayStation and Xbox next month. So if you heard just like me all about like how great the story of that game is, you can get it next month. Paul, time to read the release dates for October 19th to the 25th.
All right, so we've got Isla, a Frosty Glide, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, PC on October 20th. Ninja Gaiden 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on October 20th. Jurassic World Evolution 3, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on October 21st. Painkiller 2025, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on October 21st. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on October 21st. Real quick, when does that other vampire game come out that was made by the Witcher devs? That's next year, right?
Yeah, that's next year, like Blood of the Dawnwalker.
That's what it was.
Mhm.
Okay.
Or Dawn of the
Anyway,
Bloodwalker, whatever it was. So
Blood of the Dawnwalker, Dawn of Bloodwalker, it's the same difference.
yeah.
Dispatch, PlayStation 5 and PC, October 22nd. I want
I'm
to keep my
curious.
eye on that
I
one.
want to keep my eye on that because of the
Um,
voice cast too. So
yes. Toem on iOS and Android October 22nd. Angry Video Game Nerd 8-bit. What the hell? PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC on October 23rd. Bounty Star. Oh, that sounds good. Just from a name. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC October 23rd. Double Dragon Revive. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on October 23rd. Godbreakers. PlayStation 5, PC October 23rd. Man, they are killing it with these names.
yes.
Moonlighter 2, The Endless
It was-
Fall, Early Access, PC, October 23rd. Persona 3 Reload, Switch 2, October 23rd. Plants vs. Zombies Replanted, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X X and S, Switch 2, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, October 23rd. Come on, keep that together, man. Power
yeah.
Wash Simulator 2, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch 2, PC, October 23rd. The Jackbox Party Pack 11, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, Mac, and iOS, October 23rd. The
Mhm.
Lonesome Guild, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on October 23rd.
Mhm.
Chicken Run Extraction. Man, if this was an extraction
Why?
shooter, that would be the funniest thing that would immediately die, but man, would it be funny.
It
PlayStation
is.
5, Xbox, are you serious?
It
Xbox
is.
Series X and S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, October 24th. Hot Wheels Let's Race Ultimate Speed, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC, October 23rd. Malice, Malys to clarify, on PC, October 24th.
Uh,
Once Upon a Jester, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S on October 24th. Once Upon a Katamari,
mhm.
PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch, and PC on October 24th. House of the Dead 2 Remake, excuse me, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, October 24th.
That's so
Holy,
wild. Which, by the way, that's an insane amount of games for me. I
1
only have
week.
for 1 week, and I only have interest in two of them, which was
I
Ninja Gaiden 4 and Dispatch.
True.
So
If I had like infinite time and money, that House of the Dead 2 remake would be a
I
huge
was
deal.
gonna say that because I played that so much in the arcade.
Same. That
It's
was
so
the
good.
arcade game back in the
Yeah.
man. There was There's a pinball museum out here, which is apparently a more common thing up here than you'd think, and it has
Hmm.
a bunch of arcade games as well. One of which is the '90s like Police Academy shooter, if you remember, where
Yes.
like yeah, it's got like the tiki heads and the
Uh-huh.
nuclear thing that falls down. That
Wow.
whole deal. And I was like, holy crap, I forgot. Like that was where you locked in
Uh,
alongside House of the Dead 2, and Time Crisis.
mhm.
That was the one that
Time
all the
Crisis.
cool kids would hang around.
I would love for Time Crisis to come back because my dad adored Time Crisis. I had the PS2 version that came with the controller. It
I
was the orange
I have the PS1
Gun.
gun controller. You
Yeah.
still I Oh yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
What a time.
I'm
Anyway,
I'm
yeah,
gonna keep
there's a
an
few that
eye.
are
Yeah,
cool.
I'm gonna keep an eye on to see like how this remake is. If it's still just a light gun game, and that would
I
if
mean,
it
it's
ever.
got to be if they
Uh,
really want like the feel of it all, but
mhm.
that also comes with its own issues.
Yeah, because I don't know if it would be good just playing it with a controller and aiming like the reticle and doing all
Yeah,
of
it's
that.
more like I'm just glad it exists, but I
Hmm.
don't think I'm gonna be able to enjoy it. You know
Not
what I
yet,
mean?
not right now. That's why I kind of want to hear
One
it.
day, though.
Yeah, we'll hear it next week for sure. And obviously, Ninja Gaiden 4, we already have. So, and that was we were always gonna play it because it was on Game Pass. Uh,
Mhm.
Tomorrow also, Keepers, another Game Pass game from Double Fine, the Psychonauts. Like when this podcast comes out, is coming out is the next game from the Psychonauts 2 dub. I've heard really good things.
Mhm.
And Dispatch because of the voice cast because this is the superhero Telltale game that has like the different characters with like different great voice actors, which includes Laura Bailey, Aaron Paul, or no, it's
Aaron Paul is one of
Yeah,
them. Yeah,
Aaron Paul, Alana
it's like
Pierce.
just about everybody you can
Yeah,
imagine is in
exactly.
that game.
Yeah, so the concept is so cool, and I feel like
Mhm.
I haven't played a Telltale style game in forever because I'm still waiting on Wolf Among Us 2. That if it's good, that would be like a wait. Let's wait for a good sale and get
I will
it.
say between that and if you want another Telltale style game, also
Expanse.
including Laura Bailey, is the Stray Gods
Oh,
game.
Stray Gods is from them. I
That's the
forgot.
musical one, and that I put it on my wish list. I'm waiting for one day when it's on sale that I'm just going to pick it up alongside everything else that's been coming out because there's a lot of stuff coming out.
So much, but November and December are looking like respites, thankfully.
Yes.
And that with that, Paul, we conclude this week's episode of the
Done.
X Button. Where can people find you, good sir?
As always, y'all can find me at Dork of Art on Twitter. I have been actually pretty good about posting a couple of screenshots and some times of me either breaking something or doing something cool. The last one was Ghost of Yotei,
The
having
ghosts.
three random NPCs just kind of standing in the field, and I ran by and they
Mhm.
disappeared, and I was like, "Oh, pardon me," um, and that felt just like
Mhm.
like Fallout style, like weird stuff going on that could be on purpose or it
Mhm.
could have been a glitch. But I will say I've never seen an NPC stand like that. I've never seen that happen again since.
Mhm.
So we'll see.
Yeah, and I I captured it on stream. I had a moment where I had horses that disappeared and went back in the middle of of a clip. So it's somewhere in the stream. I would have to clip that, but I didn't record it on the controller thing. But it was funny. But and for me, I have shed my identity. I have embraced the Slayer Giant on both Twitter, on BlueSky, and on Twitch. And then you can find me for my written content over at seasongaming.com, where I have a lot of things cooking. Like Battlefield review will come out sometime. It's the Ninja Gaiden 4 reviews coming this Monday. I'm gonna cram like crazy to get that as I also play Yotei and stream it. And another review later this month too. And I've been doing a lot of those while still continuing my streaming journey where you can find me Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at the different times that I've listed there. Give me a follow. My my affiliate journey has started, so I am definitely giving a lot of focus to that. And we'll see you hopefully next week. If not, like I'm gonna have a serious conversation of the timeliness of this podcast going forward. Because it's been like 2 weeks because it was 2 weeks ago, like last time you were here.
Yep.
So yeah, and depending on the focuses, but regardless, like we'll let you know how it is. If you see us next week, it continues. If not, we'll see you there. But until then, keep playing Jote and any of these million other games that we've gotten so far, and there's still to come. Enjoy the weekend, everybody, and
Press X.
to play.
Good night, everybody.
Hasta la vista, baby.